Prior to the French Revolution in 1789, women had minimal political rights. There was no right to vote or even hold any political office. Women were generally considered secondary citizens, and it was the men in government that would dominate in the political sphere, and they would decide what was best for the entire population. It wasn't of much importance as to whether a woman was single or married, as both had essentially the same lack of rights. Fathers were responsible for their daughters and were in complete control of them until the point at which they got married. Then this responsibility was passed to the husband. Women were generally confined to labour-intensive, low-skilled work, which would ensure that they could not out-earn men nor improve their societal status. With the onset of the French Revolution in May of 1789, some women utilised the political environment to promote women's rights. It was difficult for women to be kept out of the political sphere with the societal turmoil occurring. Going through some examples of how these women attempted to achieve their feminist goals, we have the following. First up, the Women's March on Versailles. It was one of the earliest and most significant events of the French Revolution. On the morning of October 5th, 1789, women were near rioting in the Paris marketplaces over the high prices and scarcity of bread. Their demonstrations soon became intertwined with the activities of revolutionaries who were seeking liberal political reforms and a constitutional monarchy for France. Their numbers soon increased quickly until they were in their thousands. The city armoury was overrun in order to get weapons, and the group marched on the Palace of Versailles. They then besieged the palace, and King Louis XVI was given a list of demands. And the following day, the group then forced the king and his family, and much of the French assembly, to come with them to Paris. Another key group to discuss is the Society of Revolutionary and Republican Women, which was a female-led revolutionary organisation. The lifespan of this society was from May 10th to September the 16th of 1793, a mere 5 months long. The society in this time did manage to draw significant interest within the national political scene and advocate for gender equality in revolutionary politics. Now looking at individual women that particularly stood out during the revolution, the first of which being Charlotte Corday. She was responsible for the quite famous murder of the Jacobin leader Jean-Paul Marat, who was a politician and journalist who was partly responsible for the extremely radical course of the revolution. Corday's acts helped restructure the private and public role of women in society at the time. The idea of women as second class, or less than men, was challenged, and Corday was considered a hero to those who were against the teachings of Marat. The next figure to consider is Olympe de Gouges, who wrote a number of plays, short stories and novels. These publications emphasise the fact that women and men are different, but this should not stop them from being equal under the law. In her 1791 Declaration of the Rights of Women and of the Female Citizen, she insisted that women deserve rights, especially in areas concerning them directly, such as divorce and the recognition of illegitimate children. To sum up, though women did not gain the right to vote due to the revolution, they still did greatly expand their political participation and involvement in government. It cannot be denied that they then set the precedent for generations of feminists to come. Thank you so much for watching this video, and be sure to subscribe for more History in a Nutshell.